Hello, and welcome to Viva La Action, the podcast where we're talking about all things action movies. The good, the bad, and the underrated. My name is Santi, and with me as always is my co-host, it's Grayson.
Hello.
Hello.
It's me.
What's up?
Not much. A lot of change today.
Yeah.
A lot of change.
What are you talking about?
Oh, nothing. Just, we
got this guy.
got a special guest here.
We're on air. It's not plugged in, so I don't think it'll work. But hey, it has batteries in it. Yeah, we're filming the podcast for the first time.
And yeah.
In a way that's not on Zoom.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it works.
Yeah.
I may just throw this out anyway.
Entirely. That's okay.
I am loud as all get out. There we go. That's a more normal volume. Sorry, everybody. Yes, we're here.
Yep.
We're queer.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about movies.
Yeah, we are.
Which is what we do on the show.
Yeah.
Grayson, it's our first episode of the new year.
Yeah, it is.
Our first full-length episode.
Yes. Yeah. About a movie.
About a movie, not just our award show.
Yep.
And per your suggestion, we decided we'd start the year off at rock bottom.
Yeah.
And we have done that because this week we watched Battlefield Earth.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
Our spy satellites recorded those images.
What is this species?
Well, according to the Klinko historians, the species is called dog.
Dog.
Yes.
Obviously, the superior race, having the man-animal chauffeured around.
Yes. Well, dogs did prove to be more cooperative than the man animals. For some reason, they weren't as useful when it came to manual labor.
I am honored by your visit, Your Excellency.
Well, thank you, Planet Ship. You'll be pleased to know that I've approved additional labor resources. I'll have them sent here by the end of quarter cycle.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Now, let's see. Oh, your long overdue transfer. You must be looking forward to getting off this disgusting excuse of a planet.
I just want to do whatever serves the corporation best, sir.
Very admirable. And I must say, you've done a first-rate job here as interim security chief.
I do what I can.
Which is why...
Which is about as dramatic as the movie gets.
Yep.
Battlefield Earth, for those who don't know, is a 2000 science fiction action film based on the 1982 novel of the same name by Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard. The film was adapted for the screen by Corey Mandel and J.D. Shapiro and was directed by Roger Christian. The film, Battlefield Earth, stars John Travolta as the villainous cyclo-alien Turl, with support from Forrest Whitaker for some godforsaken reason,
Yep.
Barry Pepper, Kim Coates, and Sabine Carcenti. Grayson, would you like to guess what Battlefield Earth carries on Rotten Tomatoes?
It's got to be like a 4%.
You're pretty close.
Yeah.
It's a 3.
A 3?
It has a 3% critical score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
The audience score is pretty abysmal, too. Would you like
Yep.
to guess what that is?
Ooh. 10%.
Oh, again, very close. It's 13.
13. Okay. All right. And that 13% that did like it,
Yeah.
they were Scientologists.
They probably, yeah. I don't know how you could like this if you're not a Scientologist.
Yeah.
The film doesn't pass the Bechdel test.
Nope.
God, why would it? And finally, in case you haven't seen the movie, the plot synopsis, which I grabbed from IMDb. It's the year 3000 AD, and the Earth is lost to the alien race of Cyclos. Humanity is enslaved by these gold-thirsty tyrants who are unaware that their man-animals are about to ignite the rebellion of a lifetime. Now, before we touch some more on the circumstances of this film, Grayson, what did you think of Battlefield Earth?
That shit was ass.
It's pretty ass.
It was so bad.
It's really bad.
It was really boring. Yeah, just really boring. It's a real bummer that got Forrest Whitaker roped into this shit.
Yeah, I don't know what he did to deserve this.
I know. Did he anger God?
I guess so. Or Xenu,
Or is he?
the god of Scientology.
Yeah, there's a lot of plot holes, and it just...
Yes.
The dialogue was clunky as hell. It was gross.
I would go so far as to say that this movie is vomitous. It is it is atrocious.
It's real bad.
What is that dog doing?
I don't know.
Like I don't even know where to begin with how awful this movie is. It is like literally at times I felt sick watching it. And it's not just like the way it's shot, which we'll talk about. For some godforsaken reason, everything is at an angle. But
I know I was gonna bring that up. That shit was
like the costumes are bad. It's like lit in such a weird way. Like everything is green and blue. Yeah, it's just bad. It's real bad. It is atrocious.
It's really bad. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't fully understand what was going on.
No.
It didn't make any sense. The dialogue again was like so unnatural.
Yeah.
And it just like John Travolta's not a very good actor.
No. And yet he keeps getting chances.
And yet, yeah, like he was like okay in Grease.
Yeah.
But he's just not good.
No, he's not. He's he's like flat at the best of times, I want to say.
Yeah.
And at the worst of times he is just chewing all the scenery.
Yeah.
But like not in a good way.
No.
He's entertaining, I would say. I'll give this to this movie, even though it is completely incoherent. I was very engaged because I'm like, it's like watching. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
It's like watching a car crash. It's like you can't look away, you know?
Yeah.
In some sick way.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Train wreck.
It needs to be studied in a lab.
It does.
Think.
Boy, I tried to study it this week. I was reading books.
Yeah.
I was reading, the Wikipedia article. I'm watching interviews.
Yeah.
One interesting thing about this, just before we get into this further, normally with movies, like when I'm doing research, I'll watch like the behind the scenes. I'll try and find like the DVD feature. Funnily enough, the only one that anybody's bothered to post to YouTube is this like 30-second clip where it shows like the, there's that part at the end where like there's all the guys like flying the planes.
Yeah.
There's a part where it shows the guy in the cockpit and he's like flying a plane, and then it cuts and it's just him and like a model, and there's a green screen behind him.
Yep.
And I'm like, I mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
I kind of understood that part.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They're not going to just give the studio like 70 Harrier planes.
But like I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of behind the scenes information, but
no,
there's some other stuff we'll talk about.
Yeah, I did look up what Scientology is.
Yes.
I don't get it.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, before we go any further, Grayson, would you recommend somebody watch this film? Okay.
No. Avoid it.
Yeah.
Don't bother with it.
Yeah.
You'd be I'm not even going to say like, oh, you can make a drink game. Don't do it.
No.
It's not worth it.
It's not.
You can spend your time doing something it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's
it's really way too long.
Yeah. Like you can spend your 2 hours doing something infinitely better.
Yeah.
Like bettering humanity or something. I don't know.
Honestly, this I think made humanity worse.
Yeah.
This movie.
Yeah.
When it came out, when we watched it, don't pay for it if you're listening to this, watching this.
Pirate that shit.
Pirate it or do what we did, and there's a rip of it on YouTube.
Yep.
I'm not going to call out the YouTube channel because I don't want to get them in trouble like we did with the Mexican-American guy. But it's don't pay for it. Yeah. Don't give John Travolta your money.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, Grayson, let's get into this.
Let's do it.
So you're vaguely familiar with what Scientology is.
Vaguely, but I still don't get it. I know it started out as like a business, and then he went bankrupt, so then he turned it into a religion for tax purposes, but then he kind of also turned it back into a business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you basically got so if anybody's like really interested in Scientology, there's a really good book. I can't remember the name of the author, but I believe it's called Going Clear. You can find it on like Amazon and like whatever. It's a really good book, and it kind of dives into like L. Ron Hubbard, the person, but then also Scientology, the religion. Fascinating stuff. But yeah, like you said, Scientology was founded by this man named L. Ron Hubbard, who he was a science fiction author. He then founded something called Dianetics, which, if you don't know what Dianetics is, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's basically like a process of healing past trauma in order to like enlighten yourself.
Yeah.
So there's a process called auditing where an auditor will sit across the table from you, and they will basically like ask you a series of questions, and then like berate you basically for several hours. And then you're eventually cleared. And then you kind of move further down the chain, I guess, of enlightenment. There's things called thetans. There's an alien god named Xenu. I don't understand all of it completely, but yeah. So it's founded by this guy. He did a bunch of terrible stuff, which everybody should look up. Just bad things altogether. Think along the lines of Charles Manson, but he was legal. Great. Just maybe, possibly, and I don't want to slander Scientology too much because I don't want them to come for me. Allegedly, maybe some people disappeared, and allegedly, maybe some people were assaulted, and allegedly, maybe a bunch of money has gone missing, and some other stuff. So, anyway, fun religion, fun people. But Scientology famously has sort of penetrated Hollywood. In particular, there's a couple of famous actors who are noted Scientologists, notably John Travolta, and also Tom Cruise, who's kind of the big daddy of Scientology. There's some others, like I think... I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but there's a bunch. What's her name? She's in The Handmaid's Tale. Elizabeth Moss. She is a Scientologist. And oddly, I looked this up because I'm like, why is Forrest Whitaker in this movie? I was like, is he a Scientologist and I just don't know about it? He's not. I don't know why he's in this.
I also don't get it. And because I was reading his Wikipedia. And like when you read like what he's been in, they don't mention this movie.
No, they don't. It's bizarre.
Because I'm wondering if like because he's like kind of a good guy, they're like, we don't want him associated with this. just ignore him being in that and you'll be fine.
Yeah, which is funny too, because I looked it up. Like, I was like, okay, I Googled like Forrest Whitaker, Battlefield Earth, right? To see if there was like an interview. And there's one on IGN, but it's like 2 sentences. And it's literally just him being like, I was in this movie and my character's kind of stupid. Anyway, go watch it. And I'm like, all right, thanks, Forrest. That was really insightful.
He probably didn't want to say too much about it because they'd also come after him.
Anyway, so one of the other tenets of Scientology that I think is important to understand for this conversation, they are really against psychology for some reason.
That's hilarious.
That is like their number one enemy, right? Is psychology and therapy. And I think it's just because, that it kind of leads credence to their methods, like the Dianetics thing. But regardless, that's something to keep in mind when we talk about this movie, because if you remember, the alien race in this movie are called Cyclos. And it's kind of like there's some like imagery and some like not subliminal. Nothing about this movie is subliminal.
No.
There's like some messaging kind of around like mind control and like, whatever. So there's that. Which is fun.
I thought the name Cyclo was kind of... I didn't like it.
No, it's really bad.
It's a terrible name for an alien. Also, I don't believe for a fucking second that when they invaded, we only lasted 9 fucking minutes. I don't believe that.
No.
Have you seen the U.S. military?
Yeah.
I think we would have lasted a little bit longer than that.
I think we would have started shooting at whatever it was, like, immediately.
Immediately.
The second John Travolta's big-ass forehead stepped off that ship,
done.
they'd be shooting, like, instantly.
Yeah. Like, we have nukes, guys.
And you see one in this movie.
Which is, first of all, hilarious that they just were, like, holding it.
Yeah. We'll talk about some of the science in this movie, but science in quotation marks. One thing, too, I want to note. So, like I said, this is based on a novel by L. Ron Hubbard, because if you remember, he was a science fiction author before he founded a religion, which I didn't know you could just do that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, I didn't know you could just be like, I'm a religion now.
Yep. It's for, it mainly is for tax purposes because you get hella tax breaks off of it. So
yeah, which is why the Church of Scientology has like millions of dollars.
Yeah. It's also why the Mormon Church has millions.
Billions,
of
actually.
Billions, yeah.
Yeah. The Mormons. They're like Scientologists, but there's more of them.
Yeah. And I wouldn't. They're like even in terms of like just being bad.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. Mormons are incredibly. It's such a strange set of beliefs.
It really is. Like, you get your own planet when you die.
Yeah, I've never been over that. I've never been over the special underwear.
Yeah, and Jesus comes from the Midwest.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any fucking sense.
No.
That dude was brown as hell.
Yeah, nothing good has come from the Midwest.
Nope.
Oh my God. Sorry, my dog just bit me in the face. Can I help you? You're gonna get all the attention on the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
What?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so Battlefield Earth is a novel. And just out of curiosity, I was like, I'm gonna listen to some of this book, right? Because I'm like, surely, there's not much to this. The dog's getting a little excited. So I looked up the audiobook, right?
Yeah.
And I rented it, by the way. I didn't buy it. So use your local library, folks. It is 77 hours long, the audiobook. 77 hours. It's over 1,000 pages. And I don't know why or how it is that long, because basically, and I only listened to probably like part of the first chapter.
Yeah.
First of all, very poorly written, just atrocious.
Well, not surprising.
And also, they don't really say it in the movie, but the main character's name is Johnny Goodboy Tyler.
Johnny Goodboy
Tyler. Which
sure,
that kind of sounds like if you were a sub in a dom sub relationship.
Yeah,
that's what your name would be. I'm Johnny Goodboy. That, or you're like some sort of 1920s gangster,
Oh yeah.
Hey, they call me Johnny Goodboy Tyler.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and you get riddled with bullets.
Yeah, it's a badly written book. But
oh yeah.
I feel like this movie more or less captures like the book. Like,
really?
Like it's not really that complicated. Like there's not. I mean, this story is like not complicated.
No.
It's literally just like
dude gets abducted.
Yeah.
They break out.
Yeah, they break out. They blow up the alien planet. That's Anyway.
That's basic. That's not basically Independence Day, but it's very close.
It's Pacific Rim, basically.
Basically, yeah. There you go. And yeah, I have an issue with them blowing up the planet, but we'll get to that.
We will get to that.
God.
So yeah, so it was a book. And pretty much as soon as it was written, because L. Ron Hubbard died in like 1986, I want to say. So this was written in 1982. Pretty much as soon as he wrote it, he was like, "It's gonna be a movie." He was like, "I'm making a movie." And it was kind of heavily implied that he like wanted to direct the movie, but then he fucking bit the dirt. So
get wrecked.
It like took forever for it to be adapted into a screenplay, and then eventually like John Travolta picked it up, right? And he was like, I'm gonna do it because I'm in the Church of Scientology and whatever. Now, one thing that's important to talk about with this is if you ask John Travolta or you ask like whoever, they all are like, no, this movie doesn't have anything to do with Scientology. Like, yes, it was written by the same guy.
Yeah.
Yes, we're all a bunch of Scientologists, but this is just a good science fiction novel, right?
Sure, buddy.
Sure. But because of that association, like it took them a long time to get it like picked up, right? Because Scientology, I don't know if you can tell, it doesn't have a great reputation. No. Especially in Hollywood, where it's kind of seen as like a kook thing.
Yeah.
So it went through all these different producers, and it was eventually picked up by a production company called Franchise Pictures. And their whole thing was like they would take like a star and like find like some project that they had been trying to get off the ground forever.
Yeah.
And they would like fund it for them, right? So they'd be like, if you're John Travolta, you've been trying to make this movie for 20 years, you can't find anybody else to do it, we'll do it for you, right? Like we'll give you whatever.
Yeah.
And so it got picked up by them. And then Warner Brothers like agreed to like distribute it, right?
Yeah.
And part of that was John Travolta actually put up some of his own money.
Oh.
Reportedly, he spent about $5 million of his own money to get this movie going.
Well.
And one thing I'll say about it, it looks like ass.
Oh, yeah. Where'd you put all that money, John?
Yeah, where did it go?
What'd you do with it, John?
I mentioned this earlier. This whole movie is at a Dutch angle.
I know.
Shot.
Like one of the first shots that we get, I swear to God, that bitch is at like a 45.
Yeah.
I literally had to do this.
Yeah.
Because why?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. And then, yeah, like throughout the rest of the movie, they're slinging 30-degree angles at you.
Yeah.
They're slinging, I swear to God, they almost did just a full 90.
This is upside down.
And it was distracting.
It's distracting, and I read the director said that the reason he did that is because he wanted it to look like a comic book, right? But like, I don't know if he's ever read a comic book. It's not all at a Dutch angle.
No.
Like, I don't know where he got that from.
That's so... Also, it's not based off a comic book.
I know! It's based on a novel.
Yeah, it's based off a book, you dumbass.
Yeah, you dumbass.
Jesus Christ. Well, you win some, you lose some, honestly.
One thing to note about the director, he's a man named Roger Christian. You wouldn't recognize his name, but he is a noted protege of one George Lucas of Star Wars fame. And it was actually supposedly, and I don't believe this.
Yeah.
Supposedly it was George Lucas's like encouraging that got this guy to direct this movie. To me, that sounds like throwing George Lucas under the bus.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine a conversation where he's like, "Hey, George, like, I've been offered this big movie," and George was like, "Yeah, I think you should go for it," or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
I don't imagine George was like, "Yeah, I would direct it if I could." You know?
Yeah.
That's my George Lucas impression. Everybody,
You nailed it.
Thank you. If anybody ever wants, like a good time. There is a compilation on YouTube of George Lucas's funniest moments. And there's a very great clip where a bunch of people are like hounding him for an autograph. And he like turns to them. He's like, I don't do autographs anymore. You know, if you want it, it's like $100 a pop or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the guys is like, "Well, I can't afford that." And he goes, "Well, then maybe you should get a job."
Damn.
It's a good clip. Maybe I'll insert it here.
George Lucas is a savage.
He is
man.
a savage.
Jesus.
There's another great clip where I think it was in 2015. Jurassic World was coming out, and it was about to go up against The Force Awakens, which was also coming out that year. And George Lucas goes up to the producer of Jurassic World, and he said something like, "Good job," whatever. And then he goes, "But I'm gonna squash you like a bug."
But I'm gonna squash you like a bug.
He's a cryptid, that George Lucas. Anyway,
He is kind of a weirdo.
so I don't believe for a second that George Lucas told him to do this movie.
No. I feel like George Lucas has a little bit more, what's the word? Self-respect.
Yeah.
You hope. And he probably saw the movie. He saw like what it was about and went, "Nah, you probably shouldn't do that." And the guy went, "No, I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to throw you under the bus for it."
Yeah.
So, surprised George Lucas didn't vaporize the dude right on the spot.
I know, yeah. Just with his laser eyes.
Yeah.
Now, Grayson, there was another director who was supposedly approached with this film. Would you like to guess who it was?
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, no. It's everybody's favorite foot lover, Quentin Tarantino. Now, the reason is, because John Travolta's in Pulp Fiction, right?
Yes.
Which is the big movie that kind of relaunched John Travolta's career.
Yeah.
We can actually thank Pulp Fiction for this movie because without it, because Travolta's career has kind of been up and down, right?
Yeah.
Like he did, he was in a TV show
Really?
in the 70s, and then he did, what is it called? It's a disco movie.
Disco?
Saturday Night Fever?
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, if you've never seen Saturday Night Fever, I think, is that what it's called? I think so. Friday night, or anyway. That movie's really grim.
Is it really?
Yeah, you think it's like a fun like disco movie, but there's like a gang rape in it.
Oh,
there's like some other weird stuff in it. Yeah, it's like
good.
it's pretty grim.
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, Saturday Night Fever. So he was in that, and then he was in Grease.
Yeah.
And then he had like a series of kind of like commercial flops. Like he did a follow up to Saturday Night Fever called Staying Alive.
Yep.
He did a couple of other movies.
He was in a movie with Nick Cage.
Yes, Face Off.
Yep.
Which is a great movie, which we'll talk about at some point.
All right.
But anyway, so Travolta's career has kind of been like this, right?
Yeah.
And Pulp Fiction is kind of what revived his career. And once he had the juice from Pulp Fiction, he's like, all right, I'm getting Battlefield Earth made.
Let's
right?
go.
So thanks, Quentin.
You fucking asshole.
And supposedly Travolta went to him first and was like, do you want to direct this? And I can imagine Quentin Tarantino was like, ha, no.
You know what? I'll give Tarantino that. Good on you. I hate all of your movies, but good on you for rejecting this shit.
Anyway, what did you think of the costuming? Like, what do you think of the Cyclo design?
Bad.
It's bad.
It's
really
like
bad.
a ripoff of Predator.
Yeah, but like not as interesting.
Yeah, not as interesting. It's like the Great Value brand Predator.
Yeah.
Which, first of all, Predator would eat these motherfuckers alive.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it looked cheap. And like when you looked at like a lot of the like facial hair that they put on some of these guys, it was very clearly like they did not disguise it very well. So you're like, oh, that's just glued on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just so bad.
It is really bad.
And why were they so pale?
I don't know. I also don't understand like I get the point is to like make them like threatening, right?
They weren't threatening.
They're not threatening, but I don't understand why they're so big. Like I don't get what the point of like, like and why their hands are so big.
Yeah.
Because it just makes them look fake. Like it just,
Well, and there's several points where like a finger would like brush up against something and it would like rubber just go sproing.
Boing. Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, that's obviously fake and it looks awful. Mm-hmm. Like you just slapped some prosthetics on a bitch and said, all right, good luck.
Right. It's also funny too, because like they're supposed to be, like they took over Earth, right?
Yeah.
And then, like the whole tagline is like humanity is almost extinct.
Yeah.
Right. But like, I don't believe for a second that these aliens are competent enough to like take over the Earth.
No,
because they're just like squabbling with each other the whole time,
the entire time.
And Forrest Whitaker plays the dumbest person I've ever seen on film.
Yeah,
he like tries to betray John Travolta like 4 times.
Yeah,
and every single time John Travolta's like, "I'll shoot you in the head," and he's like, "Okay, never mind."
All right, I got you. Or you'll be like, I got you on tape.
Yeah,
I'll send it off to the big office. First of all.
Also, okay, before you say that, this movie's way too complicated.
It's
for what it's supposed to be. But anyway,
it doesn't. It's like it's. I don't believe that they took over Earth because all they care about is capitalism.
Right.
So there's ain't no fucking way that a bunch of like capitalist scum show up and beat us.
Yeah.
It does like they're so worried about profits and shit. It doesn't compute.
Yeah, you can't out capitalism the United States,
no.
Okay?
Yeah. And so
But there's like little things too that like don't make sense. Like the whole thing with these cyclos is that they're like obsessed with gold, right? They want gold. But
Yeah, so does everybody. Get in line, bitch.
yeah, but what I don't understand is, right, like, they're these advanced alien race. They're, like,
Yeah.
trying to mine gold or whatever. And one of the plot points later is that, like, the humans, like, go and grab some gold from Fort Knox and, like, bring it to the Cyclos. And there's, like, a point where he's like, why is it in bricks? And
Yeah.
he's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, we smelted it or whatever. You'd think an advanced alien race would have already, like, had something to be like, oh, there's a huge store of gold over here.
Let's
Go get that.
Yeah.
And then we'll start mining. Like,
yeah. You would think.
You would think. You'd also think there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
First of all, this is one of those things where I'm like, this doesn't matter, but it's the kind of thing that bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part very, very early on, right, where... Hello.
What are you barking at the ghosts or what?
Yeah, I guess so. There's a part where Johnny Goodboy Tyler, right, and he, like, leaves his, like, little mountain village, and he's like, I'm gonna go look for the monsters, right?
Yeah.
And he ends up... Okay.
Hey, dude, you're good. You're good.
He ends up at this, like, abandoned putt-putt course, right?
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, it's like at the very beginning, right?
Hey, you're good, dude.
And part of it is, like, he gets, like, startled by these two other guys,
Yeah.
and he goes to, like, hit them with something.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a golf club.
Yeah.
But, like, if it's been 1,000 years since humanity fell, like, that golf club should be buried
Yeah.
and rusty. Like,
Yeah.
why is it, like, perfectly
Brand
pristine?
new.
You know?
And a lot of that stuff, yeah, it should have been like
dust.
dust.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, like, especially like the buildings should not have been that put together.
Right. Like, I mean, look, all you have to, like, look at how often they uncover, like, you know, a medieval, like,
Yeah.
whatever. And it's only been, like, 500 years. And it's
Yeah.
under a foot of dirt. Like,
Yeah.
all of that would have been buried by now. Like, I know that's, like, a little thing, but it's just, like, like, you're not, like, you can't, like, surface level sci-fi bothers me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you haven't thought about the world you've created.
You're right.
You just want to tell a particular story.
Yeah.
But it's like, don't set it 1,000 years in the future. Like,
Yeah. Like a couple hundred.
yeah, you
It's
can even set
fine.
it like, yeah, a couple hundred, because, like, a couple generations have passed, stuff has become mythologized, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't be like, it's 500 years. Like, that's crazy.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anytime
Or
we
1,000 years, sorry.
Yeah. Anytime we dig up something from like like from the BCE era.
Yeah.
It's like almost indecipherable about what it is. We have to use like special like reconstructive software and data or like a carbon dating.
Right.
To figure out what the fuck it is, and
Yeah.
even then, all we do is our best guess.
Right. Like, there's a part where they go to, like, the Library of Congress, and they're like, this is all or it's the Library of Denver, I guess.
Right.
Because, first, again, why are you going to set your, like...
Yeah, why Denver?
Why Denver?
And it also doesn't make sense that they're able to go to Fort Knox and the Library of Congress
Right.
and back in a day.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, they go to this library, and he's like, this is all of human knowledge, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
All of those books
Gone.
should be gone.
Dust.
They should be dust, right?
Yeah.
Like, just exposed to the elements like that, like, they should be evaporated.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Like the only books that we have that like have survived even 500 years
Yeah.
have only survived that long because we fucking take care of them.
Right. Or they were, like, buried. Or they
Yeah.
were, like, in a chest. Or, like,
Right.
you know.
If you're going to do sci-fi, do it right. Do your research.
Yeah.
And think about all of the little like plot holes.
Right. Which, again, like, normally I don't really care about plot holes, right? I'm not,
Yeah.
like, a plot hole guy.
Right, yeah.
But I'm like, it's little things that, like, it makes the story, makes me not care about it. Because it's like, this is obviously not, you know, a world I need to be invested in because the writers didn't even bother, you know?
Right,
like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's just absurd. Also, all of those like planes and weapons and guns and shit they found, they should not be operational.
No.
They should absolutely not be operational.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me that gas, that fuel, that rocket fuel lasted 1,000 years
Right.
you're insane.
Right. Again, those engines and like whatever should be rusted out. Like they should not be functioning.
Yeah, you should go to turn the fucking key and it should just explode.
Right. And also, I'm fairly certain that the nukes would not work.
Oh, no.
Because like I don't know what the half-life of like plutonium is or whatever, but like
I can tell you.
I'm fairly certain it would have been degraded enough that you wouldn't get the same reaction.
No, it would let's see, plutonium that plutonium shouldn't even work at all because the half-life of plutonium is 87 years.
Jeez.
So, yeah, that plutonium should be a rock.
Yeah. Yeah, it would just be a straight up rock.
It would, it just, because it would decay so far down to whatever's below it. Well, it wouldn't be like a rock. It would be like some metal lower down lower down in atomic whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you would not be able to get a nuclear explosion out of it anymore.
Yeah. They basically sent that guy to that other planet with a rock.
Yeah, pretty much.
I also like how they just let that guy be a suicide bomber. They're just like, you go. You be killing yourself.
Well, and you can... This is going to be fucked up. You can tell this movie was made before 9/11.
Yeah.
Because dudes were flying planes into buildings left and right.
Yep. They sure were.
Yeah.
They sure were. Yeah, the hero of the film basically flies a plane into a building and blows it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which...
That would not have flown. No pun intended.
Yeah, it really...
Post 9/11.
Again, how stupid are these aliens that like...
Very.
Because like, first of all, like I get the point of like the villain is supposed to be like so egotistical he doesn't see his own shortcomings or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, how do you not see it that like if you train this race of beings that hates you and wants to exterminate you, just teach them your language and teach them how to fly
and math
and teach them how to shoot and basically just put the gun at your own head and be like, go ahead and pull the trigger.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
like, even if you're like mildly intelligent, you'd be like, this is probably not a good idea.
This is a terrible... Well, and like so many people told him, because like his superiors were like, you don't do that.
Right.
And they told him not to do it for various other reasons. But bottom line is they were like, that's a dumb idea. That's stupid. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah. Very dumb. Just...
What do you think about him calling everybody rat brain?
It got old. It got so old so fast.
Yeah.
I like the 9th or 10th time he said it, I was like, can you just shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Can you just call him like a dickhead or something? like say something else.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Good job, rat brain. Yeah.
But yeah, that was annoying. And yeah, I just like with Forrest Whitaker's character, it always seemed like like for being such a dumb race, Turl was smart-ish. Ish. He was smart enough to like outsmart another one of his race, but he was dumb enough to train the humans how to fly in math and revolt.
Yeah.
And so it like make it make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and also like, so I think like key number one usually of like a movie, right? Like if you're gonna have a protagonist who's like your hero, right? You should give him like some kind of personality,
or just a little bit,
or like just something, anything interesting about him.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you anything about Johnny Goodboy Tyler.
I know he had braids.
He had braids, and he's like the best guy. It's just like everywhere he walks in, everybody's like, "I love you, Johnny.
Yeah,
you're the best guy, and you're the best at fighting.
Yeah,
you can fly a plane for some reason.
Yep,
and you can shoot guys, and you're the best. We love you, Johnny.
Yep." And it doesn't make any sense.
No. And it's, I mean, I get it. It's like the Luke Skywalker. It's the, whatever. But like...
Yeah, but at least Luke had like...
He's got some stuff.
He's got some stuff. He's the son of Vader.
Yeah.
Right? We don't find that out till later, but He's got, he has interesting shit.
Yeah.
He's not just some like weird nobody.
Right.
Like why? Like I feel like had anybody else been put in that situation, I feel like they would have just done the same fucking thing.
Right.
Like there's nothing special about Johnny Goodboy Two Dick or whatever the hell his name is.
Johnny Goodboy Two Dicks.
Yeah.
I also want to say, like, I think the very general concept of this movie is not a terrible idea.
No.
Right? Like, I don't mind the idea of, like, it's been Earth has been taken over.
Yeah.
It's basically Planet of the Apes, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's been 1,000 years. Humans are now this, like, primitive race again. Like, how do they take the Earth back, right?
Yeah.
I don't hate that as an idea, but again, it's like this thing that's like, it's a story that's been told so much better in other mediums. Planet of the Apes is a perfect example,
It's
right?
so good.
Like, Planet of the Apes is this story. It's just told better.
It's just told, because like the twist at the end is like they're on Earth.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, I was like, holy fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah.
This, I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, who cares?
Keep Earth, don't keep Earth, whatever. It's been 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But also, like, this is like more or less the plot of like Halo. Or
yes.
like, I'm trying to think of another example. Like Independence Day, or like all these movies that have done it so much better. Or, well, Halo's a video game, but and it
still did it better.
and a poor TV show. But
Neither here nor there.
neither here nor there.
It still did it better.
I thought it was fine, but everybody hated it.
Is that Red versus Blue or whatever?
Well, no, they made like a live action Halo show on Paramount Plus. I thought it was fine. Everybody got mad because Master Chief took off his helmet, but I understood it for the development of the TV show. It doesn't matter. Anyway, they canceled it after 2 seasons, so it doesn't matter.
Classic.
Anyway. Okay. One thing I wanted to talk about. So supposedly, because of the Scientology, connection, there's a couple of things I want to say.
Yeah.
People like started spreading a rumor that like there was subliminal messaging in the film, right? They're like, they're like, oh, there's like, whatever.
Yeah.
So, former Scientologist Lawrence, Wollersheim, in a press release issued by his group FactNet, he said that the Church of Scientology has placed highly advanced subliminal messages in the Battlefield Earth film to surreptitiously recruit new members from the movie audience and to get the audience to develop a revulsion for psychiatry and current mental health organizations and practices. So
that doesn't make any sense.
No, that was said by a Scientologist, right?
Yeah.
Well, then Warner Brothers came out and was like, "That's not true. Like, that's just a bunch of made up nonsense, right?"
Yeah.
And this this journalist from Scotland, and this is like the most like Scottish response ever.
Bring it.
He said, the only subliminal voice I could detect came about 10 minutes into this 121-minute film, and it seemed to be saying, "Leave this cinema now."
Oh my god, that's so funny.
That's very Scottish.
No, that's 100% Scottish. That's
very
incredible.
cheeky.
Yeah, I didn't get any subliminal messages of like, psychologists and therapists are the devil. Don't do it. It was literally just a bad sci-fi movie.
It's really just it's like bad Star Wars or bad, it's really not. And the action's bad. We're an action movie podcast.
Oh man. Yeah, the action was horrible.
It's really bad. It's a lot of slow-mo.
Yeah. Yeah. The gun, I didn't get the guns.
No.
I didn't get any of that shit. The whatever little amount of hand-to-hand there was just so poorly choreographed and just sloppy.
Yeah, it's just a lot of smacking. It's just smacking.
It was just really bad.
It's just bad all the way around.
Yeah.
It's just a bad movie.
Yeah. And blowing up that planet, it doesn't make any sense.
No, because they send him through a portal.
Yeah.
Like they never, like maybe they did briefly explain like, it's a planet full of gas, and if you set off a nuke, it's going to blow up the whole planet. But they never like, I don't think they say that.
No, well, and whenever we go to that planet, there's fire.
Yeah.
Just going off in the air. So
right.
you would think, oh, well, okay, if a nuke's going to set off this chain reaction. Well, shouldn't that fire?
Right. Yeah, because a nuke is just a big fire, more or less.
Yeah, rough. It's more complicated. But
yeah, I know, but you know,
it basically yes. And so it doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't understand.
And they and they were constantly saying like, oh, you know, our planet's bigger than Earth. Yada yada. This is a garbage planet. First of all, fuck you.
Right. Yeah. Hey,
our planet's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Shut up.
what's wrong with Earth?
Yeah. Second of all, if your planet is bigger, how is one little nuke gonna do all that?
Because the planet doesn't just blow up; it like disintegrates.
Yeah. And okay, that was the other thing that really didn't make any sense. What was the deal with the air?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because when you look at like where they were like taking off and on that little respirator, there was no airlocks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, because also, okay, part of the plot is that they're like, we're gonna blow up this dome.
Yeah.
So that it'll kill all the cyclos that are in the dome, right? But you don't see the dome until like way late into the movie.
Yeah.
So up until that point, you're like,
what?
Like, do they just breathe oxygen? But
Yeah.
they also don't? Like,
yeah. It doesn't. I'm angry about it.
but also, okay, here's my other gripe. So they're like, okay, the man animals, right, which is what they call them, they can't do work, right? They're too stupid to work, right? So why do they capture them?
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing if they're not work? Like, I guess you kind of see them doing some like smelting later.
Yeah.
But like, if they're too like, why not just kill them on the spot? I don't understand.
I also that also made like little to no sense to me. Because what are you capturing them for?
Yeah.
Entertainment, breeding?
Not breeding. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Is the dog over there? What's he doing?
He's being dramatic.
Are you being dramatic? Oh, he is being dramatic. Okay. Sleeping in the hallway.
Yeah. Acting like his life is over.
It is.
Yeah.
It's hard for him.
I just, for a supposedly intelligent species, they're quite dumb. Mm-hmm. And yeah, all that infight. Also, can we talk about that drink they kept drinking? That green
slop.
No. Well, there was that, but I'm talking about the drink that they kept getting at the bar.
Yeah, it's just like it looked like booger juice. It's just like
it's gross.
It's gross as shit.
It's neon green. I'm like, that can't. I don't care if you're an alien. That can't be good for you.
No. Yeah.
And then there was the green slop out of a.
That was the part where I really felt like I might throw up. It's like,
that was vile.
This whole movie is just awful to look at.
Because Johnny B. Good. Johnny B. Bitch or whatever the hell his name is.
Johnny Goodboy Tyler.
Yeah, Johnny Goodboy Tyler. He has a scuffle with that dude. I don't know. He looked familiar because he looked like the lead kid in Hook. Do you remember him?
Yes, I can't picture him at the moment.
Yeah, he kind of looked like that. Anyway, not the point. He fights with that guy.
Yeah,
and he's like, we eat at the same time. Because the other guy was like, my people eat first and you guys can fight for the scraps.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't want to fight anybody for that slop. That's gross.
Yeah, grody as hell.
Second of all, he's like, he holds some in his hand and people just come and scoop some out of his hand. And I'm like, that's disgusting.
It is disgusting. The whole movie's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's really awful to look at and think about.
The set was bad.
The sets are bad.
The sets are terrible.
Like, it all just looked, by the way, this was shot in Canada, if you can't tell, because it looks like Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think for a second they were shot in Denver.
No, Denver doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
I got beef with Denver on many different assets, but or aspects.
Yeah.
But no, Denver doesn't look like that. Denver's not that pretty. No, I'm just kidding.
Got him.
I don't like Denver, but
Denver's fine.
It's fine. It's just your roads are bad. Denver.
Your roads are bad and your buildings look like shit.
They do look like shit. Can you fix your buildings and your roads?
Get some Adobe up in here.
And everyone drives really slow in Denver. Yeah. I don't know if it's just because you're all blazed up all the time, but everybody's going 10 under.
Yeah.
I think our thing just died. Oh no, we're still good.
Yeah, we're still good. Yeah, your buildings are ugly.
They are ugly.
Get some fucking Adobe or something. Like, personality.
Yeah.
Denver.
And it's always
Christ.
cold when I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm not a Denver fan.
And you try to take our chili.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, Denver. I
Anyway,
Denver's fine.
it's whatever.
They get a lot more concerts than we do, which
We do.
always kind of annoys me.
yeah. Like, Isletta's right there.
It's right there. Anyway. What'd you think about the real big-headed bitches?
The big-headed bitches?
I just mean the ladies. The lady aliens.
They
They had like real big foreheads,
Yeah, they were fine.
They're fine.
Again, really bad costume and makeup design.
Yeah. They look like what's her name? There's like a character in Star Wars. She's like a bounty hunter.
Oh.
She's got like the spike on her
Yep.
head. And she's got that same haircut.
Yep.
Anyway, I can't remember her name at the moment. But
Yeah. No, it was bad.
it's bad. It's a
Yeah.
bad movie.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to redeem this one. Let
No.
me look at it because I took notes on my phone while I watched it. Let me see if I got anything positive.
I took 2 shots of rum before I watched it.
That's probably made it more enjoyable.
It was bearable, kind of. Not really. I still had a bad time.
Eggs, bacon. Oh no, that's my grocery list. I did say, why is he leaving? This man's motives are so vague.
Yeah.
Oh, I did note, like, because that, it's like supposed to be like they're primitive people, so they probably don't bathe a lot. They do look like they smell, so I'll give them that. They
Yeah.
look stinky.
Yeah.
They
They do look a little stanky.
The laser effects are atrocious.
Oh,
atrocious.
they're real bad.
Completely bloodless, this movie, for some godforsaken reason.
Oh yeah, they like blow some dude's hand off.
Yeah.
and Toro gets his arm blown off. No blood.
Yeah, no blood. Just
Nothing.
like,
Some dude gets a hole blown through his chest. Nothing.
yeah. I said PS2 ass CGI.
Yeah.
Oh, I made the same note you did. Why is Forrest Whitaker in this?
Yeah. Those poor cows. Like, he was just blowing the legs off those cows left and right.
Yeah. Oh, for the green for the green stuff, I just wrote he's drinking piss.
Yeah. If your piss looks like that, you need to see a doctor.
I said everyone in this movie is on 50 kinds of crack.
Yeah.
I did like the part. So there's a part where it's kind of like a running gag that he thinks that like humans eat rats.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there's kind of a funny part where he's like dangling a rat in front of him and he's like, "Do you want lunch?"
I know. The logic behind why they think they like rats was so flawed and just fucked up, because they're like, oh, the first thing they eat, that's their favorite food.
Yeah.
Bitch, you dropped them in the middle of an apocalyptic world. They're going to eat anything they can.
They're not going to find a porterhouse steak in there.
Yeah, like fucking there's no like all you can eat buffets that are like Golden Corral ain't going to be right around the corner.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There's one good joke in this movie.
Okay.
Like, genuinely funny. The lunch thing is funny on ironically, but like there's a joke where the human characters have found like a map, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to get to DC.
Yeah.
And they're like, surely we've crossed over by now. And they're like, well, the lines must have just faded. So it's like implies that they think like the physical lines in the map are on the Earth.
Yeah.
Which is a funny, like, I think that's funny. That's a funny idea.
Yeah.
Because like, if you think about it, like, but that's like the kind of sci-fi that this whole movie should have been. Like,
yes.
You think about like, yeah, if you saw a map 3,000 years in the future.
Right.
Or 1,000 years in the future, and it had lines on it,
yeah.
You'd be like, well, those are obviously like lines in the Earth. Like,
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
You wouldn't think like this is a navigational thing.
Right.
You'd be like, there must be a line somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the line.
Where's,
you know?
yeah.
And that's funny.
It is.
I'm getting animated.
Yeah. Everybody in this movie is just dumb.
They are dumb. The line deliveries are all wrong.
Oh, yeah. They felt like it felt like they would like say something, but then they actually meant to say something else. So then they just quickly said the thing they were actually supposed to say.
Yeah.
And it just, everything sounded out of order. It was super clunky. It was not organic or natural and like how you speak to somebody at all. Ugh, it was jarring is what it was.
I did write a note to mirror something you said earlier. I said, bro did 9/11.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I also wrote, you know how to stop a genocide? Genocide them right back.
Yep. There it is. Fight fire with fire,
That's
baby.
the American way.
Yeah, it is.
I also wrote, how can everything be happening and also nothing? Oh, okay. I learned something during this.
Oh.
So there's a part where, like, you know, they're like, it's like that classic trope of like, you in what army, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then it like cuts and there's all the jets there.
Yeah.
And for a moment I was like, why are those jets just like hovering there? Right? Because I was like, I'm fairly certain jets can't just like hover.
Harrier jets can.
Harrier jets can.
Yes.
I looked that up. I didn't know that.
I did know that. So at least I got that right.
I'm glad I looked it up because I was going to look real stupid if I didn't.
Yeah. No, Harrier jets are fascinating because they have an engine at the back, I think.
Yeah.
That points down and allows them to hover.
That's cool.
Yeah. Or it's either that or the actual like engine at the back is on a gimbal and it can just point down and then they hover.
Cool.
But I think because of how physics works and where the center of mass and center of gravity are on the jet, you have to have the jet a little bit closer to the middle so that it like, or I guess you can just put it on the center of gravity because then that's where you're going to have stability as it hovers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Interesting choice to choose Harrier jets for your, army. I don't think they were particularly good ever.
No.
I mean, they because they're so niche because they can hover.
Yeah.
You're better off just using F-15s.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what an F-15 looks like, and you're like, it's the classic jet, whatever.
I think they literally came up with that shot. Right.
Yeah.
Of like the jets hovering.
Yeah.
And I think they had the exact conversation we just had where I'm like, I'm pretty sure jets can't hover. And then the other person was like, but Harrier jets can.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, I guess let's make them Harrier jets. You know?
Yeah.
I also like the idea that you could take a caveman, right? A guy who only knows Unga Bunga and nothing else. And you put him in a flight simulator for a few hours and he can fly a Harrier jet. I love that.
Yeah. Let's put somebody who barely knows how to smash two rocks together.
Yeah.
Let's put them in one of the most advanced aircrafts ever created.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Good to go. Yeah. Yeah, I like the thought that a whole human revolution can happen because one guy knows how to read. And that's all you need, right?
I guess
that's all you need. Grayson.
I know.
Well, the good thing is we got it out of the way.
That's true. Yep.
This is probably the worst thing we'll watch all year.
Probably.
Unless Fight of Fury 2 actually comes out, which I hope it does.
Yeah. Then
we'll probably watch that.
Yeah, and might have some contention.
Yeah. But for now, this is probably the worst thing we're going to watch.
Yeah, and we can only go up from here, I think.
All right, did you have anything else you wanted to say about this movie?
No, I just kind of want to forget about it. It's so bad. I hated every minute of it.
Yeah, it's really awful. It is truly atrocious. I hated this more than I think I've hated most things we've watched.
Yeah.
And like, we say this all the time. Like, for me, like, the worst sin a movie can commit is being boring, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, like
this was...
Like, Alan Quartermain is, like, the most boring film I've ever seen, and it's, like, awful. But this is, like, it oscillates wildly between being, like, really entertaining, like, really interesting, and, like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
And then the next scene is, like, 2 9-foot-tall aliens, like, talking, like economics to each other, and you're like, how is this so boring? Like how is John Travolta in dreadlocks and a forehead you could land a Harrier jet on, like, with these giant claw hands? Why is he talking about like slave labor and the economics of like gold? Like, what were they thinking?
Literally, it doesn't make any sense. I I was, I think, fully bored throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because I kept getting up to like grab food. I was like,
something else.
Yeah, I was getting up. Honestly, I came about this close to about halfway through, just going, I can't, and turning it off.
That would be a first.
Yeah, but I was like, no, I gotta, so that we can have good convos.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been a good conversation in and of itself.
Yeah,
Then we could have just shot the shit about something else.
I know. Stopped halfway through, so.
Yeah. Okay. Grayson, what do you rate this movie out of 10?
Oh, God.
Now, keep in mind, everyone listening and watching, Grayson has given 2 zeros before.
I have given 2 zeros.
This could be their third zero.
This could be the third.
We could make history on our... Actually, it would be kind of appropriate because it's our third season.
Yeah. What were the other 2 zeros I gave?
Fight of Fury.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I think you gave Alan Quartermain a 0.
I think I gave Alan Quartermain a 0. That shit was ass.
That was ass. That was hot ass.
I would have loved to see ass in that movie.
Yeah.
I think that would have made it better.
Anything, yeah.
God. I think we're gonna have to do it. I think I'm gonna have to give it a 0.
Okay.
I think so. Because there was nothing.
No.
There was no substance to this. I was horrendously bored the entire time.
Yeah.
John Travolta, I just don't like looking at.
No.
I think the only redeeming quality is that Forrest Whitaker was there.
Yeah.
But he was given such garbage material that even I don't even think the greatest actor could ever make that shit work.
No.
So, I like seeing Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
I think he's a great actor. He's pleasant to look at.
Yeah.
He's got a great voice.
I will say, Forrest Whitaker's probably the only person in this movie doing his job.
Yes.
Like, when he's on screen, at least you're like, this is a big dumb guy. And he's like playing a big dumb guy, and he's like kind of fun to watch. Yes. Everyone else is terrible, but at least he's doing something.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I cannot reiterate, just don't
watch it.
Just don't.
No.
It's not worth your time.
Yeah. So is that your final verdict?
A final verdict.
Big goose egg?
Big old goose egg.
Okay. I've said before I can't give 0 just because I feel like there's something redeeming in every movie we watch, right?
We're going to get one. We'll
get one eventually. The day's not today, unfortunately. Yeah. I wish it could be. But I will give this like a 0.8.
A 0.8, okay.
It's almost at a 1.
Almost.
Which is like hard.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the difference between like 99.9 and 100, right?
Yeah.
It's like 0.8 to 1. That gap is huge.
Yeah.
Because, and the only reason I'm giving it 0.8 is because I laughed twice. And that's just the only thing I can say.
Yeah.
It's atrocious.
Yeah.
I think when I reviewed it on Letterboxd, I said it was utter contemptible crap.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
It's awful.
It's really bad.
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
It was. Hell of a way to start out the year.
Hell of a way to start out the year. It only gets better from here, hopefully.
It sure does.
All right. That takes us to our next section of the show.
Yeah.
It's everybody's favorite section, actually, and it's called Editor's Picks.
Woohoo.
Woohoo. What you got? If you got anything. I can go if you're thinking.
Yeah, you go.
Okay. I'm going to recommend the film Nosferatu. Just came out.
Nice.
It's probably still in theaters when this goes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's good shit. It's a remake of the 1922 classic, or 1921, maybe 22.
Yeah.
Silent film originally. This one is not silent. It is in color, and it is with talk. It's a talkie, believe it or not. It's fantastic. Good atmospheric gothic horror. Very long, slow burn. Don't watch it if you're squeamish, but yeah, it's good. Good movie.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoyed the hell out of it.
If you're looking for a good laugh, I'm going to recommend Young Frankenstein.
Oh, I love Young Frankenstein. I showed you that movie.
Actually, I did the play, the musical.
Oh, that's
in high
right.
School
yes,
first.
yes, that's right.
So, yes, there is technically a musical. If you ever get the chance to watch the musical Young Frankenstein, highly recommend it. It's funnier than a motherfucker.
Okay.
The movie is also hilarious.
Yes, it's incredible. Mel Brooks.
Yep, Mel Brooks. It's classic Mel Brooks.
Yeah. Farce.
Yeah. So Young Frankenstein. I've been thinking about it a little bit recently.
It's a good movie.
It's really, really
Very
good.
horny.
Yeah, yes, very horny. It is in black and white.
Yeah.
But yeah, Young Frankenstein.
That's a great movie.
It's awesome.
All right. Cool.
Yep.
Well, Grayson, thanks for doing this first episode of the season with me.
Yep. I'm ready. I'm ready for a full third season.
Full third season. We got a lot fun planned.
Oh yeah.
So why don't you tell the people where they can find us?
Oh, all the places. Wherever you're listening to right now, you can find us there.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a new place to find us, you got YouTube, Spotify, Podbean.
Yeah.
Are we on? I was having this conversation with my roommate earlier.
Uh-huh.
Are we on SoundCloud?
No.
No. Okay.
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
We used to be hosted on SoundCloud.
Oh, gotcha.
But I switched over to Acast.
Acast,
So you can
gotcha.
find our first 10 episodes on SoundCloud, but everything else has been moved to Acast.
Acast.
So-
Gotcha. Okay, so if you were listening on SoundCloud at any point, and you're like, "What the fuck happened?" We have since moved to Acast.
We have moved to Acast. Yes.
So just pop on over there and you can continue where you left off. Or if you want to just do something else, like I said, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, Apple Podcast, and then socials. We got Instagram.
Yep.
And Facebook.
Yep.
And TikTok
For the next 6 days
6
or so.
days.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're not gonna go anywhere else.
Nope. Sorry.
Yeah. If I get to it, I will make a Tumblr, but
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
I'm not getting on Blue Sky. I keep saying it.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
I also don't care about Blue Sky,
No.
so you can suck my nuts.
Yeah. I'm not getting on Threads.
Threads, Lemon 8, or whatever the
Yeah, what
fuck.
the hell? Whatever that is.
Yeah, so, no.
Stop requesting me to follow you on Lemonade, whoever
Yeah.
does that. I'm not doing it.
You can DM us places.
Yeah.
There's a little form in the description.
Yep.
Google form to suggest movies. I have a whole list of suggestions going from all of my coworkers.
Fun.
And then comment, like,
Yep.
give 5 stars, review it.
Yep.
Press all, just engage with it. Helps
Yes.
us out. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Thanks for watching.
Yep.
I'm pointing at the camera. And we will talk to you next time.
Adios.
Oh, wait. We need to do the preview.
Yeah.